Joining us now, NBC News International correspondent Raf Sanchez and editor-in-chief of Foreign Policy, Ravi Aggarwal. So, Raf, what's this going to mean for Kyiv?
Well, Katie, the Ukrainians are facing absolutely intense bombardments right now by the Russians, sometimes hundreds of drones and missiles every night. They are saying they need more Patriot interceptor missiles, not fewer. And instead, you are seeing the Pentagon putting on pause the delivery of exactly those missiles. You are seeing absolute dismay in Kyiv right now. They say these are the weapons that they need if they are going to stay in the fight. And this move is actually being welcomed by the Kremlin. We heard from Dmitry Peskov, Vladimir Putin's longtime press aide earlier. He said the fewer the number of weapons that are delivered to Ukraine, the closer to the end of the special military operation, which is, of course, what the Russian government calls the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Now, as you said, the Trump administration is presenting this as a kind of America First decision. They are saying there are concerns that the U.S. military stockpiles are depleted after years of supplying the Ukrainians, also supplying Israel, and then with American forces still on high alert following those U.S. strikes against the Iranian nuclear facilities. But this is something that is potentially seriously undermining to the Ukrainians at a key moment in this war. Kate.
Yeah, on that note, Ravi, stockpile concerns, I just want to point this out. It did not stop the State Department from approving a $510 million arms sale to Israel on Monday. Can you give us a sense of where it appears the U.S. government stands on its support for Israel as the war in Gaza continues?
Well, Israel is just a very different case, I think, for this administration, but also for successive American administrations. America at no stage has said it wouldn't do everything in its power to defend Israel were it to come under attack again. So they've been so impressive at defending their own territory in recent weeks under attack from Iran and elsewhere. And it's always been the assumption that that would just be the case. No questions asked, even if Israel does attack Iran without America's permission, without America's blessing. The situation with Ukraine is just very different, where no such arrangement exists, of course. But it's crucial to remember that a lot of the weaponry that we're discussing right now, those Patriot missiles, all of the backup equipment, the artillery, a lot of that was promised by the Biden administration. It was already budgeted for. And the Trump administration's argument that it needs to preserve weaponry isn't actually entirely accurate. Jake Sullivan, the former national security advisor, has pointed out in the New York Times op-ed this week that, of course, the source for that weaponry, it's the same as any kind of export to any other country. So it's not really like for like.
What is the latest between Israel and Gaza? Hamas has said that it is open to a ceasefire, but it's rejecting U.S. demands?
So this is a bit murky. Trump kind of got ahead of the news here by saying that Israel has agreed to a ceasefire with Hamas. We haven't had the same level of confirmation from the Israeli side. Hamas, we understand from Reuters, is reviewing a potential ceasefire agreement. But Katie, it's important to take a step back from this as well and just look at the fact that we did have a ceasefire agreement back in January. Stage one of that agreement was not even complete. We didn't get to stage 2 and 3 when Israel actually pulled out of that agreement. So whether this does work out or not, the longer term sort of stability is very much in question.
All right, Ravi Aggarwal and Raf Sanchez, gentlemen, thank you.